So have you heard? There are some large real estate changes that just hit the real estate market on August 17th. And the rules of the game have absolutely changed for buyers, sellers, and realtors. No, this is not the clickbait you've seen with the news. This is the real perspective from someone who works every single day with buyers and sellers in the real estate market. And we are here to help bring insight into what just happened. So today we're going to bring you exactly what you can expect with these new rules and what it may look like in the marketplace as they have just gone into effect. Let's talk real estate. If you're new to the channel, my name is Danny Barron. I'm a local real estate agent here in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we put out content just like this each and every week. So if you're looking to learn a little bit more about the area, the real estate market here, or just watch some fun videos, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below. And if you or someone you know is looking to buy or sell real estate here in the Cincinnati area, that's what my team and I help you with every single day. We sell about 200 homes per year, so it's critical that we address today's topic for all of the folks that choose to trust our team members to be their agents. Feel free to throw us a comment below with your thoughts. We love hearing from you guys here on the channel. Look, it's no secret that the NAR settlement is a big deal. It has been all over the news, and it does directly affect every buyer and seller as of the last few months. As a result, I knew it was time to put together a video so that you can understand these changes when it's time for you to buy or sell again. After all, it's going to look different than when you dealt with real estate transactions in the past. My goal is that you can all hear it, understand it, and make sure that we're all operating under the same rules. I'm hoping you can understand exactly what to expect moving forward because the game of real estate is changing a little bit. If you were unaware, there was a major settlement. It was a class action lawsuit settlement with the National Association of Realtors that just took place. And that settlement now directly impacts what you decide to do with buying and selling real estate. So first of all, with the new rules going into place, I want to clarify that these are nationwide. They are not just Cincinnati specific, they are all across the US, and they just went into effect on August 17th, 2024. Let's chat first about how this affects home buyers. To simplify it down, I have two main points for you. Number one, if you are a buyer and you're looking to go tour homes, you now have to sign a buyer agency agreement with the real estate agent that is taking you out to look at those homes. That's right, you are now required to have a buyer agency agreement signed and in place before you're allowed to tour homes. So what does that actually mean? It's really simple. You are hiring that realtor. The buyer agency agreement is going to disclose a couple of different things. It will tell you what the realtor can and can't do. It will disclose what their compensation is or how they get paid. It will disclose the expectations of a buyer when working with a realtor. And then it's going to disclose the length of that agreement. The reality is that plenty of markets across the US were already requiring this document to be signed. So although this is a national change, a lot of real estate markets were already abiding by this rule. Did you hear that? It's actually not new. It's just being enforced everywhere now. Believe it or not, it was already recommended to us in Cincinnati that we have buyers sign this form as well. Now, to be frank, I personally hated the idea of shoving unnecessary paper in people's faces and taking away from the relationship aspect of this business. The part that we know and love here at the Barron Group. I don't think that will surprise anyone. We wanted to serve the people that wanted to partner with us, not the ones who were contractually obligated. However, now that we are quite literally required to have this document signed to even consider you a client and show you a house, we should talk about the positive aspects of that. The beauty of these agreements is that they give the agent the opportunity to work for you to the best of their ability, and they know that buyers will be loyal to them. We are now hired, and this is a clearly spelled out agreement. The agreement also provides you, the buyer, with some protections as well. These are truly two-sided. They make sure that everybody's on the same page as far as exactly what to expect and how we're going to approach working together and writing offers in the real estate market. As a side note, I am absolutely willing to send this full buyer agency agreement to anyone who is considering working with our team as a buyer. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you want to review this in its entirety. Our contact info is below if you want to shoot us a message or schedule a 15-minute discovery call with our team. And yes, I've now been hearing from many friends, even from outside of the state that are looking to buy houses, that signing this paperwork makes them nervous because they have never had to do this before. Hear me say this, I totally get it. But I do reassure everyone that has reached out to me that this is the new normal and that an agent is not trying to take advantage of you by having you sign this paperwork. We now legally have to, or we could be subject to fines over $1,000. And FYI, we're not NBA players or NFL players. I can assure you the big fines actually don't sound great to us. So that's the first thing. Let's talk about number 2. Buyer's agent compensation is no longer allowed to be listed in any of the MLS systems. So if you go on Zillow, Redfin, or any of those platforms, you will no longer see the line where it says buyer agent compensation. We also cannot see it privately anywhere on the MLS. It no longer exists on listings. And once again, if an agent tries to sneak it into a listing for other agents to see, you're looking at a hefty NFL-sized fine. No thanks. So how are buyer's agents actually getting paid? Well, that is exactly the huge question right now, because it should not surprise you that they won't be working for free. The compensation discussion will happen with you and your agent prior to going to tour homes, discussing exactly what they charge or what their fee is and how they're going to get paid. Whether that's through you paying them directly once you buy a house or having them negotiate it into the offer as part of your offer strategy. Both of those are valid options. You just need to have the conversation with your agent, or if my team is representing you, we're going to have that conversation with you. This conversation needs to happen right from the start. That way, there are no surprises and everyone is on the same page. We want clarity across the board. So there you go. Buyers have 2 major changes to deal with. 1, they need to sign an agreement if they want to hire a realtor. And 2, they need to understand how their realtor is getting paid so that they can write offers accordingly. I will speak for our team. We think these changes could be fantastic for everyone in the long run. And we know the value that we bring in representing our buyers with our knowledge, agent relationships, and industry resources, even like lenders and home inspectors that we recommend. So we cannot wait to keep rocking with you as home buyers. Now, let's switch to the seller perspective. I get it. With everything shifting on the buyer's agent side, it leaves a lot of questions for someone getting ready to sell their home. After all, up until now, sellers have most likely been trained that payment for both agents will be coming out of their proceeds when they go to sell their house. It's a tale as old as time. And to go along with that, most buyer's agents have been preaching to everyone that they are free of charge for their services because they are paid by the seller. Well, consider the settlement the official decoupling of commissions. So, how does this actually go down now? The major change is that sellers will have some different paperwork to sign now with the new listing agreement, and they will get to decide whether or not they want to offer compensation to a buyer's agent. Ultimately, that compensation cannot be publicly marketed on the MLS, as I just shared, but it would certainly be shared with any buyer or an agent serious enough to write an offer. Now, on paper, the question is actually hilarious. You're asking me if I want to pay the buyer's agent when I'm the seller? Yeah, nah, I think I'm good. But is it really that simple? I can promise you that it's not. What we are seeing here is a precedent set for decades and decades that buyer's agents have been compensated at the closing table almost always by a credit from the seller. And let's be abundantly clear, listing commissions and buyer's agent commissions have always been negotiable. This is not new. But certainly there have been some standards established locally that people grew accustomed to seeing with the percentages. As in any business, there is a fair market value that people come to expect with pricing. But it's never been set. So you know what is not a change? Negotiation. Realtors are running businesses, and I'm sure they will adapt, and there will be pricing models of all kinds for you. But just like all other businesses and products, you oftentimes will get what you pay for. So what is my advice for sellers approaching this big decision to sell your home? We are asking you to very carefully consider who is actually being affected by your choice to compensate a buyer's agent or not. This is not a forget the buyer's agent, I don't care about them kind of situation. In reality, it's not actually the buyer's agent who will suffer. They have a signed agreement to get paid with their buyers, so they're good. The person most benefiting is actually the buyer who would potentially be writing an offer on your house. Let's say that you're not willing to pay their agent at all. It's possible that your home gets knocked out of their price range the second they find out you can't pay their agent, because that ultimately bumps their cash to close up quite a bit if they're paying a down payment and have to pay their own agent. And let's say for the sake of argument that the listing across the street actually is willing to pay their buyer's agent, and now they can afford that house. This is just an example of the free market. If you aren't willing to offer what someone else is, you might not sell your product. So what do I personally suggest for all sellers? I suggest working with a professional who is going to best advise and help you navigate the decisions that are necessary when listing your home. I can tell you very candidly, it just became more critical now than ever before to hire a knowledgeable buyer or seller representative. These changes mean that you are truly hiring someone on both sides of the transaction. No more calling your brother's friend's uncle who shows up and doesn't even make you sign paperwork. You should consider very carefully who you hire. Whew, I get it. that's a lot. So in conclusion, let me reiterate that these are changes that occurred nationwide. This is not just Cincinnati, and this is not just me and my team. This is across the U.S., where we have to have buyer agency agreements signed prior to walking in the door of any homes. Again, I just wanted to make sure that you are all aware of it so that there are no surprises when we get into this stage of the discussions and we want to start looking at houses. Does this all make sense? Have any questions? Hit us in the comments or you can contact us below. As I mentioned, you can message us, email us, or set up a 15-minute discovery call if you're getting ready to make a move. And if you found this helpful, slam that like button for us. It helps our channel grow and continue to reach the right people. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.